Welcome to Savitribai Phule Shikshan Prasarak Mandal, Renuka Junior College. Myself Utikar R.A. I am the staff of Standard 12th Subject Biology. So today we are going to start the lecture number 10 about the first topic of biology, that is reproduction in lower plants. In this section we are going to take a look at seed and fruit formation. So see, what do you mean by seed and fruit development? The goal of reproduction in every living organisms, including plants, is to create offsprings for the next generation. One of the way that plants can produce offsprings is by forming or making the seeds. So seeds formation is very important for the production of a new life. If we want to grow the plant, then we are growing the seeds, or we are germinating the seeds, and whatever seeds get germinated, that after that new plant will be created. So for the maturity of the life, or for continuity of the life, plants must produce the seed, and that seeds get germinated, and after that the new life is going to be formed. Related to plants, the flowers must be pollinated in order to produce seeds and fruits. Seed development is initiated by fertilization. The integuments of the fertilized ovule persist and get transformed into the seed coat of mature seed. Now see how the seeds are going to be formed. First of all, there is a fertilization process. Okay, whenever fertilization process will be there, after that fertilized egg is going to be converts into the seed and fruit. So whenever we are germinating the seeds, that means we are germinating the fertilized ovule, and that fertilized ovule will transform into the plumule and radicle, and then the seeds is going to be germinating. Whatever coats are present on the seeds, there are two types of coats, that is testa and tegmen. That seed coats are, whenever we germinate the seeds, that seed coats get removed out, and after that the integuments of the fertilized ovule get transformed into the seed coat of the mature seed. So this is the diagram of basic dicot plant and monocot plant of the seed. In figure 1.17 we studied about the bean seed, which is a dicot one. Dicot is the type of a seed which can be transformed into, or which can get converted into, two equal cotyledons. Whenever two cotyledons will be there, then we call it as a dicots, and whenever only one cotyledon will be there, then we call it as a monocot. So this is the figure 1.17 where we studied about the bean seed. It has a epicotyl, hypocotyl, radicle, cotyledons and seed coat. Seed coat is of two types, that is testa and tegmen. See diagram 1.18 here. Maize is the example of a monocot. Monocot means only one cotyledon will be there. So it have a seed coat and fruit wall. After that there is a endosperm. Endosperm is nothing but the nutritive part which provides nourishment to our ovule up to fertilization process. After that there is a scutellum. Then there is a coleoptile, plumule, radicle, coleorhizae and alicuron layers. Now coleorhizae and alicuron layers, these are the protective coverings present on our monocot seed, which provides protection for our ovule. See the next point. Seed sometimes consists of two distinct coverings, a typical outer seed coat, the testa, and the inner thin membranous, that is a tegment. As I said earlier, seed coats are of two distinct coverings. The outer covering, which is a tough, is said to be the testa, and inner covering, which is a thin and a membranous, is said to be the tegmen. The nucellus in the ovule may persist in some genera like a black pepper and beet as a thin papery layer, the perisperm. So nucellus is the next covering inside the tegment, is said to be the perisperm. Perisperm is somehow very thin and papery layer. In some seeds, the food reserves in the endosperms and partially used up in the development of an embryo. So whenever mature seed is there, that mature seed contain the reserved food material, it is said to be the endosperm, and endosperm is providing nourishment to our embryo up to fertilization process. Obviously, in such seeds, the endosperm remains conspicuous and fills a greater part of the seed. Thus, the resultant seed is a endospermic or albuminous, for example, castor, coconut, maize, etc. Now what happens? In some seeds, there are larger portion of endosperm. So, a portion of the endosperm which is providing nourishment is bigger in size. Therefore, that seed is said to be endospermic or albuminous. So, endospermic seeds are nothing but the mature seeds which contain higher portion of endosperm. Another name for endospermic seed is albuminous seed. Here they give you three examples, that is a castor, coconut and maize. In other seeds, embryo absorbs food reserves from the endosperms completely during its developmental stage. Thus, endosperm disappears or disorganized in mature seeds. The resultant seed is a non-endospermic or ex-albuminous. Examples are pea, bean, etc. Now, there are some seeds in which the endosperm is totally absent, because whenever embryo formation will be there, in that embryo formation that nutrients get totally absorbed by our embryo. So there is no any endosperm is present in our seed, then we call that seed as a non-endospermic seed or ex-albuminous seed. Here they give you the example, that is a pea, bean, etc. So till now we studied about the two types of seeds, albuminous seed and ex-albuminous seed. Next point, the cotyledons in some non-endospermic seeds act as a food storage, and in others they are the first photosynthetic organs. Micropyle persist as a small pore in seed coat to allow the entry of water and oxygen during soaking. So whenever we soak the seeds, whenever we want to germinate the seeds, and for that process we soak it, then that micropyle end present in the seed have ability to enter the water and oxygen for the germination process. So micropyle end we studied in a structure of Anatropous ovule. It is the opening which is responsible for entering the pollen tube during Anatropous ovule formation. What happens whenever seed get matured out, that Anatropous ovule now converting into the seed, that seed have a micropylar end, and that micropylar end have ability to enter oxygen and carbon dioxide with water inside our seed, so that seed get easily germinated. Fruit development is triggered by hormones produced by developing seeds. As mentioned earlier, after fertilization, the zygote is formed and the ovary begins to differentiate into the fruit, and ovary wall developed into pericarp. Now we are going to study about the development of fruit. Fruit development is triggered by the hormones. There are various hormones. For that, the fertilization of the zygote is formed in the ovary, begins to differentiate into the fruit, and ovary wall develops into pericarp. Pericarp is nothing but the covering of any fruit. Let's take the example of a mango. Mango have a seed inside it, and above that there are the coverings of the mango. It is said to be the pericarp. Between that there is an endosperm, and that endosperms we eat. Whenever we eat the mango, that means we eat the endospermic portion. Okay, so pericarp is the outer covering of our fruit. So pericarp is basically three layered, which get differentiated in the fleshy fruit like mango, coconut, etc. So in mango and coconut we easily differentiate the ovary and our pericarp. Ovary is nothing but the seed, and pericarp is nothing but the covering of our fruit. So there are significance of seed and fruit formation. So first let's see. Fruits provides nourishment to the developing seeds. Fruits protect the seeds in immature conditions. Seeds serve as an important propagating organ, that is the units of plant. Seeds and fruits develop special devices for their dispersal and thus helps in distribution of the species. So these are the significances of the seed. First significance, foods provide nourishment to the developing seed. As the fruits have an endosperm, that endosperm is a nourishing portion of our fruit, so it is have ability to provide nourishment to the developing seeds. See the next one. Fruits protect the seeds in immature condition. So seeds is present inside our fruit, therefore definitely they are providing protection to our to the immature seeds. See the third one. Seeds serve as an important propagating organ, that is a unit of a plant. Whenever we want to grow the plant, we are germinating the seeds. So seed is a unit of the plant which have ability for the propagation purpose. Next one. Seeds and fruits develop special devices for their dispersal and thus helps in the distribution of the species. So whenever seeds we are germinating, this means we are providing the distribution of the species, means we have ability to produce the distribution of the species. So we completed the lecture. This is our 10th lecture. So in next lecture we are going to study about the apomixis. Thank you.